I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
This is More Money with economist Steve Moore. Now, Steve Moore.
Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show on WABC, the number one talk radio station in these United States. Always a pleasure and privilege to be with you from 1 to 3 p.m. on WABC, following the great Larry Kudlow, who, by the way, was the best man at my wedding. So he is someone, obviously, I greatly admire. But another person I greatly admire, and there's a lot of pollsters out there, and I don't always, I don't always trust pollsters because I think sometimes they twist the polls and to get the answers they want. One guy who doesn't do that, one guy who just calls it straight, and I know that because when he predicts things, so often those predictions come true, is John McLaughlin. So, John, thanks for coming on again. And I'm a little frustrated, John, with the president who I love, Donald J. Trump, that I feel like he's a little bit off, maybe not even a little bit more than a little bit off message in talking day after day after day, John, on tariffs and the good stuff, the really good stuff, the fact that he wants to dismantle the Department of Education, the fact that he has got control of the border, the fact that he wants the biggest tax cut ever, the fact that he's deregulating our economy. All these things are not being he's not talking about that, John. It's tariff, tariff, tariff. So do you agree with me or disagree with me that there's a messaging problem right now?
Well, I'm by the way, there's nothing that focuses political minds like an election. And I've been fortunate that I've worked with Donald Trump since he first ran for president and through the last 2 elections. And he's listened to you and Larry and Steve Moore and Art Laffer, and he ran on tax cuts, and that was his first that helped us win the primary in 2016. And it was the most important achievement of his first term in office. And what people don't know, we did a poll recently for the Chamber of Commerce, where 49% of all voters in America are not aware that the tax cuts are lapsing this year.
Whoa, hold on, time out. Half of Americans don't even know that they're going to face a whopping tax increase next year if we don't get this done? Wow.
No clue. And
that's because Trump, John, that's because Trump isn't talking. That should be part of his message.
By the way, there's 2 special elections in Florida for Congress on Tuesday. That should have been the focus of the election. Should have been a referendum of realizing when the House put up its budget version with the tax cuts in it and the room for no tax cuts on tips and overtime and Social Security, which are popular, every Democrat in the House voted against that. So every Democrat in the House is now on record for voting for the largest tax increase in the history of the United States, and people have no idea this is coming. That Chamber of Commerce poll, people support making the Trump tax cuts permanent 64-20. People, and by the way, we've got a new poll of small business owners in the country from the Job Creators Networks. They support it 4-1. Small businesses will go under. When you tell them the negative consequences of those tax increases, that the average taxpayer's bill will go up $2,000 a year, that people will lose like 9 weeks of money that would allow them to buy 9 weeks of groceries. People that it's 80% are more likely to support the tax cuts, making them permanent. But they have no idea this is coming. They have no idea that the Democrats want the Republicans to mess up, not get the votes, and all of a sudden the tax cuts lapse, and we'll lose the midterm elections. We'll lose our House majority or Senate majority. And guess what? We'll get impeached again.
So, John, what are you seeing in terms of, you're doing a lot of polling almost every week, national polls of Republicans, Democrats, Independents. How is he holding up? Because, the stock market is down pretty significantly since the middle of February. I mean, my wife, every night I'm coming home, she says, oh gosh, we lost some more money this week. Now, the stock market's very volatile, as you know. It goes up and down and down, up and down, but it's been down, and Trump loves a big, good stock market, as we all do. So, how do you feel like his approval rating is doing right now?
I know it's at like 52-43, and it's not just me. It's like Scott Rasmussen had that number.
Wow.
But by the way, it should be higher. On election day, it was 56.
It's like he's treading water right now because he's on other messages. He's dealing with trying to bring peace in Ukraine and Russia and protect Israel from the terrorists.
Right.
And he's done a great job securing the border. I mean, the Republicans love it. By the way,
for sure.
in our monthly survey, when we ask him the most important goal for President Trump,
what he ran on, like 7% say it should be reducing the price of oil and gas, 8% say
strengthening national defense, 20% say securing the border, 58% say passing the tax cut to give middle class taxpayers relief from inflation. The tax cut is relief from inflation. We've been punished by this hidden tax for 4 years, and we cannot take a tax increase on top of rampant inflation. So
what?
We got to get.
Sorry, what are people saying about tariffs? Do you think they favor the tariffs? They don't. Larry Kudlow, our buddy Larry Kudlow, was on earlier on on his show, and I was listening to him, and he was saying that he thinks one of the problems is one day it's a tariff on this, one day it's a tariff on China, one day it's a tariff on autos, and that kind of message is getting a little bit muddy. But what do Americans think about tariffs?
They think it should be fair. Like basically, when I've tested it before, if a country wants to put tariffs on us, then we should reciprocate with tariffs on them. But they'd rather see not tariffs. They'd rather see, have no tariff. If, for example, American automobiles, we'd love them to be sold overseas and manufactured here. And they understand it as a tool to bring jobs back and manufacturing back to the United States, whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's airlines, et cetera. But they would like to see a fair playing field.
And America, right now, I think they would think
that we're unfairly taxed. Our products are unfairly taxed when we try to sell them overseas.
However, but go back to the key argument here. You give them a choice between, stopping a tax increase, which Newt Gingrich in a recent poll has 77% of all Americans respond more favorably to stopping the tax increase.
Yes.
And so what they really want is stop the tax increase,
make the Trump tax cuts permanent, and then have fair trade where, it's reciprocal, that we kick down these barriers. So that would be a really growing economy. I'm just a pollster, and I'm successful because President Trump listens to you and Larry and Stephen Art Laffer. And we got to get them focused on the tax cut. That should be the biggest battle going into the midterms, in every election.
Greg Kelly here with an urgent retirement warning. President Trump's return is set to usher in a new golden age, but growing trade tensions and China's ruthless attack on the dollar have rattled the markets. That's why Warren Buffett just dumped $133 billion in stocks. And so too have Jeff Bezos, Larry Page, and even Jamie Dimon, CEO of the world's largest bank. That's why thousands of informed IRA and 401k savers are now shielding their savings with gold. And the experts at Colonial Metals Group are the only folks I trust to help you to do the exact same thing, especially now after Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki warned of a coming market crash. So visit freegoldguide.com/Kelly or call 800-655-5186. You'll get a free gold guide on how to bulletproof your wealth with gold tax-free. Plus, see if you qualify for a free home safe and as much as $7,500 in free silver. Once again, that's freegoldguide.com/Kelly.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland. Watch it now on Prime Video.
At Patron, we craft our tequila using high-quality natural ingredients without additives. No sweeteners, no extracts, no secrets. In fact, Patron's secret ingredient is that we have no secret ingredients. Just 100% additive-free tequila, made with 100% Weber Blue Agave, water, and thyme. Patron, 100% additive-free tequila. Visit PatronTequila.com to learn more. The perfect way to enjoy Patron is responsibly. Copyright 2025, imported by Patron Spirits Company, Coral Gables, Florida. Tequila 40% ABV.
The number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Especially because, John, we're starting at Unleash Prosperity to run some ads in some of these Democratic districts because just, 3 weeks ago when we had that vote on the House floor, every single Democrat, every single one of them, including many of them in the Northeast, where our show reaches, and in the New England states, every single Democrat voted for a $4 trillion tax increase. And that seems to be a pretty good message for the Republicans to say these people want to raise taxes on you.
Right. And it works because in this campaign, we ran ads in the 7 battleground states against Kamala Harris. That's just the tax increase. And it's not just a tax increase and most of the voters in the Trump coalition are working class voters. But we get investor class voters when we say, guess what? The capital gains on your home is going to go up by a third if you try to sell it, or your 401ks. That tax cut lapse that you and Larry helped put together for President Trump. If that lapses, capital gains goes up, tax on investments go up, tax on your savings go up, and your income taxes go up. And it would be a massive tax increase, and it would happen this year. Some of it's happened already, like the R&D tax cut, I think has already elapsed to some degree. Yeah. And people support that for small businesses. It's like 75% approval. You got to check out the Chamber of Commerce website where they publish their poll results. People want this tax cut. People want
they do.
Permanent.
So I've got just 2.5 minutes left with you, John, and this is excellent information. So thank you so much for covering some time out of your Saturday afternoon to come on. We are live, by the way, folks. I wanted to ask you about, some of my friends are freaking out. Some of my Republicans friends are freaking out about some of these special elections that we've seen in the last week or two, sporadically around the country where, the Republicans aren't doing so well. There was a race in Pennsylvania. There was a couple of other races where these were districts that Trump won heavily, and yet they lost these special elections. Is that a warning sign that Republicans might be in some trouble?
I think so because they're messageless. Instead of running on the tax cut, for example, you're going to run radio ads in the 13 districts that Trump won where Democrats voted against his tax cut.
Right. Yes.
You got to name Jared Gold. You got to name Tom Suozzi on Long Island, Laura Gillen on Long Island. They should be named in those ads. And all of a sudden, when people realize that for the biggest tax increase in American history, you'll see Democrats come on board just like Reagan had Democrats come on board when he got his tax cuts passed. Yep. So playing offense is the best thing for Republicans. That's what Donald Trump did when he won in 2016. That's what he did in 2024. We ran on tax cuts. And they ran Kamala Harris and Joe Biden ran on tax increase.
So last 30 seconds, John. I've been saying I want Trump to maybe give a nationally televised speech in front of the nation, saying exactly that if we don't get if we don't get the Democrats and the Congress in action here, we're facing this big tax increase. I think that would be a powerful message. Reagan did that every time his tax cut hit a snag. What do you think?
I think you should actually go out and do rallies. Do a stop the tax increase rallies. He should. He's better when he's with people. And the worst thing about being in the White House is don't see normal people. He don't get out with everyday people. So he needs to get back out to his rallies and tell people the tax increase is coming. They got to make the tax cuts better.
There you go. Well, John, you are a great communicator for Donald Trump, and I appreciate so much you coming on. That's John Mclaughlin, one of the top pollsters in the country. This is the More Money Show, and when we come back, folks, I will be taking your calls. What do you think about the tariff policy? What do you think about what Trump is doing, right or wrong? I love the guy. I think he's doing so much for America, but I don't always agree with him, and I'm not that comfortable with the tariffs, but I want to hear from you. 1-800-848-9222. When we come back, we'll take your calls.
At BP, we've reset our strategy with a focused downstream, a growing upstream, and disciplined investment in the transition. See how we'll grow shareholder value at bp.com/reset.